Good boy. Twice even. You have been upgraded too. Not bad. Not bad at all.
Just not bad? I didn't hear you complain much.
No complaints at all. I rather enjoyed it. Perhaps we should get you all hot and bothered by a fight more often.
Althea could have walked in on us, you know that, right?
She is just an ordinary woman. She could have seen an extraordinary woman instead.
Year ago knows no bounds. How David Thorpe didn't hop at the chance, I'll never know.
I was older. She was younger. I had the sense to moderate my Kim usage. She did not. And I chickened out on the Black Demon slope.
And yet somehow she is dead and you could pass for 40. I mean, 30. Or am I supposed to say 20?
And you, my darling, could almost pass for a mole rat. Your looks have never been your strong suit.
You should have seen me in my prime. I could barely pass for human. I had 6 concussions and just as many broken noses by the time I was 50, and you can still see all the scars, plain as day.
You were one of the few that didn't fawn over me. You almost didn't seem to notice me. I thought you were a right full peg compared to the likes of Maxwell Davy, or almost any other man in the vault.
Everybody seems to bring up Maxwell as some standard of excellence. I've seen him in the locker room. He's not all that impressive.
About the same as most men, but trust me, honey. He will do anything. Try anything. He isn't satisfied until you are. Multiply, and frequently. The man barely sleeps, in fact, but his mind is never focused on you entirely. You are just one task in an entire file cabinet he calls his mind. In fact, I came to a recent realization. I fell in love with him down in the vault. Davy too, in a way. I actually wanted to marry them both. Damn the law and tradition.
I have no doubt that Fruit would make a good wife. Pipe and slippers waiting for you when you got home from a hard day at work. And Davy just took Maxwell's whole stick and took it to another level. Something they can't figure out if they are a man, or a woman, or neither, or both, just beyond my understanding.
I don't think I do entirely either, but I'm trying to respect it. The use of a plural pronoun. A bit odd, perhaps, but a wonderful person nonetheless.
Davey is an okay guy or whatever he thinks of himself. I like his crooner albums. Kind of reminds me of the stuff my old man would listen to when he beat my mother.
Fathers can be real sons of bitches. I get that. I'm honestly surprised you didn't eventually kill him.
He went for his shotgun before I could finish him off, somehow, someway, for some reason. He didn't pull the trigger, for the first time, and the last time, he was as afraid of me as my opponents. 25 years later, part of me wishes he was still alive so I could finish it, but I'll be honest, I don't know what I would have done if I found him. Alive, that is. So if Maxwell and Davy would be your husbands, what would the rest of the guys be? Or me, for that matter?
Most of the rest, well, little trusts, occasions, moments, but you silly ugly man, would be the dirty secret I'd keep in my closet after my husband's left for work. You don't play fair there, Bruno, but, as I was gonna say, you all share one thing in common.
And what's that? And I already know the most obvious answer. Well, maybe Minas Eric.
You never forced it on me, or demanded it for something. The thought didn't even enter your minds. And I know, when a man is lying.
I was surprised that in 25 years, it never happened. As far as we know, I heard rumors about this or that surrounding Annabelle, and that's why she only likes women.
I heard the same thing, but it turned out to just be a vicious rumor. People warned me about you, you know. Said you'd be the type to be the first to try that.
And yet you turned me to for training, even without a security presence.
I just looked into your eyes and I knew I would be completely safe.
Most people who look into my eyes quickly shit their pants, out of curiosity. What did you see?
I saw a little boy who was robbed of his childhood and his innocence. And in a moment I was so angry, to know it was done to somebody else.
You were never angry, for yourself in all those years?
I became numb for 28 years. It was just a means to an end, that occasionally I could also enjoy. And then the vault changed me, such a creature I had become that even the feeling of love and acceptance made me violently ill. And then, one day, I was whipping away the mud and dirt from the mire that was on my face, looking into that bathroom mirror in Abby's bunker. A day later, I returned to the bunker, and somebody in dried-up red lipstick wrote, "Bitsy and MacGroder," across the mirror. And I looked into my own, worn, tired eyes, and I was angry at her. I don't know what happened next. Maybe I blacked out. The mirror was shattered. My hands were covered in cuts and blood.
And yet, here, on this dirty mattress, I find myself with Belit, Buddy Lair, fucking queen of the jungle. And nobody can take that away from you, unless you let them. Sounds like we got a visitor. We're going to try and cover up, or shit, I don't care.
You can come in, Ace.
Okay, I'm calmed down now and we can. What the fuck, Jesu Christo? I'm so sorry. I obviously interrupted something.
I just tamed the savage beast. We're done. There's something about it that calms even the most aggressive male.
I didn't need to know that. Too much information. Can you at least put on some clothes while I talk to you?
A bit plain looking, but you'll do. Give me a few minutes and you can switch places.
You are disgusting, Bruno. Months in the real world and you haven't changed.
All right, clothes on. Now are you ready to talk to us, or are you gonna split the camp over this?
Why shouldn't I? You are slaughtering our, well, frankly, our brothers and sisters. This ain't a competition. You are putting us all at risk.
It is very much a competition. We just happen to be the best at it so far. Nobody has died and everybody knew the risks going in.
Broken ribs, broken jaw, bleeding on the brain, a crushed windpipe. That's not a competition. It's an excuse to beat on those who fought at the big one.
Now that was a real slaughter. Buried for myself, with my own hands. Even though I had a broken finger, a broken wrist, I felt every movement of that shovel through the ground.
Zeke had to say so many prayers that day. He collapsed during the last one. I was burying people too. People I loved dearly, that I'm still not sure how I'll make it without them.
But you did make it. But not everybody's going to make it next one. Or the one after that. Only a few of us will see each other in the next few years. Much less, decades.
And somehow you seem to think thinning out the herd tonight will improve our odds. How can you be so blind?
And how can you be so blind? I'm not the one thinking I'm going to do a little song and dance and make the perfect new civilization. Violence will always be the supreme authority.
Said by those who refuse to make things better because they can't be bothered. It is true that laws will require enforcement, but justice can always be tempered by mercy.
One day, if things go your way, you may be tying a nose for a kid who got caught stealing a sweet roll, or refusing to accept that a death was merely self-defense.
I would never.
Don't be so sure. I remember how you got enforcing the regs down in the vault at times, especially when you were mad at the rest of us. But anyway, this isn't the time for ideological debates. We have this matter at hand now. I propose no more fights until tonight, or at least late afternoon. This gives us a chance to get some sleep. All of us, in shifts, enough people awake and alert to patrol and watch for threats. What did we figure? Need 3, maybe 4. We picked a relatively safe spot here in the forest just up the road from Flatwoods. Doubtful we'd ever get super mutants or a death claw here.
Yeah, that sounds about right. Maxwell has everybody stabilized, and half of them, while injured, are still capable enough to take shifts. Annabelle is already passed out, in fact. I kinda told her I'd join her after our little talk. She doesn't look it, but she's a sucker for cuddling.
So, I take it, are you gonna be an item again?
Maybe. I honestly don't know. We were gonna talk it over after all of this was over, but I figure she'll want to shack up with somebody else tonight. She definitely has offers.
We got so damn liberal his last few years. Plenty of fishing to see who like fish.
Oh, are you now choosing to become such a prude?
If you want to swim the oceans of depravity, be my guest. In fact, bring back a mermaid or two for me. Be assured I'll do my own fishing before we are done.
I just play for one team, with all its flaws, but still my home team. If all goes well, fights resume about 4 o'clock. Maybe 5. Can we get your promise on that?
I guess so. But no more breaking the deal. 3 minutes, Val. I won't fire a warning shot again.
Okay, but once it gets to Jerry, I can't make any promises on his behalf. Our last match was brutal. He almost lost his security assignment over that.
And he technically won the fight. You spent 4 hours in surgery. They never did quite get your jaw back to normal. Yet you didn't file a single report with the overseer over it.
What was there to report? The itchy in my jaw kept me awake every cold night since, but it also reminded me that I could survive anything.
Well, I don't know about you, but a warm sleeping bag is calling my name. I already got 2 doing a few quick patrols. A bit chilly out there this morning. I'll see you around noon or so.
Now that she has left, think the bruiser is up for a 3rd round. I'm not quite tired. Just yet. Oh, hell. Bruno. Oh well. If you can't beat them, join them.
How are you holding up there? You planning on sleeping today at some point?
No, boss. I'm gold for the moment. I thought of hunting up a few squirrels or a possum for a meal before I call it a night or day or morning. So, what's the deal with Bruno? If you give the word, I got about 6 or 7 of us ready to act.
No, I don't think that will be necessary. At least, right now. I made it clear I'll be the one to take this shot if he fucks up again.
I don't like it, not one bit. He had that funny look in his eyes. It won't be too long before he and others like him decide to bring the raiders back from the dead.
I'm not sure he even knew what happened in the rain. We make that call too early and people will be against us instead of for us.
I knew a couple of people who apparently joined the responders, and their first mistake was not to take the fight to the cutthroats.
Hey, inaction is as bad as action sometimes. Let's just stay frosty and see how the rest of the day goes. If I need backup if this shit hits the fan, I won't be coy about it.
Okay, boss, just remember we got your back even if the others get too stupid to have it.
And it's appreciated, but remember we are still a family. And speaking of, I am gonna go curl up and get 40. Catch you around noon.
You find anything yet? Pretty much everybody is passed out by now.
It's all quiet. The boss is gonna catch up with the Sandman. I need something to eat first and then I'm hopping into my sleeping bag.
It's as cold as a bomb spare this morning. So Matlow told me I could crash on a spare bed in the medical tent. Had to help him with that surgery last night. Sap couldn't handle it. Had to go outside.
I almost got myself laid, but he decided to follow the Kid Queen after half the night, so my constant companion is coffee with a shot of whiskey.
I've gotten too old for that nonsense after I lost her during the big one. Wish she was still here. She'd probably tell me to sober up and get cracking.
We all miss her dearly. She was a good woman, and one hell of a fighter. She went out like she lived, not taking shit from anyone or anything.
Zach told me there is a season to live and a season to die. A season to be born. A season to, well, he meant well anyway.
If something goes wrong tonight, it won't be in the Lord's hands, but ours.
They're standing close. Joel lands the left hook.